We judge!
So
It's been a long while.
It's been a long while since we actually recorded. Been busy with stuff.
Oh, super
Everything's
busy.
Super busy.
Which leads us to the topic for today.
Yeah.
Workaholic
Workaholic struggles.
Timing's off.
Timing's off. It shows how long have it been since we last recorded together.
Everything desynchronized.
Yeah, everything is just out of sync already.
Oh.
Yeah. But yeah, we have been very busy with all sorts of things.
That's an understatement.
Yeah, actually it's an understatement. Like considering the amount of
adult life.
More like just student life. Med student, dental student life.
That as well.
Especially if you're in your clinical years. You
Yeah.
have clinical requirements. Not really requirements to rush for, but still you have a lot of things to do considering.
But do you? Well, let's be honest. Do you find work enjoyable?
I'm okay with work if there are like people dealing with it with me.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like when you have a bunch of like monkeys with you all the time. Basically, you're like tired, but then you're tired together. It's very important, you know.
Oh, that is very nice.
Yeah, you're tired together, and you're just like, nope, I don't want to talk to you anymore today. Bye. Yeah, that's. I mean, my family are the kind of people who are more workaholic on the side. Yeah.
So it's like they find the pleasure in work as well, don't they?
I mean, it's better to be working than not working, don't you think?
I mean, it's debatable. But let's go in a sense of workaholics lah.
Yeah.
So, I am quite a workaholic, don't you think?
You're way more workaholic than me. I'm really like buzzed out, you know, like my flame is like trying hard to keep alive, and then there's you who's like and it's still burning, like God knows, you know, like a candle. There's a light warmer instead of the flame itself. And you're like, how does the thing still work?
How do I still work? I question myself as well.
Don't ask me. I have no idea how I work today.
But here's the thing of workaholics. In many sense, it's quite unhealthy. Just like how we go about alcoholics. Like, it's okay to have some alcohol every now and then, as long as it's not haram in your religion.
Yeah, I mean, that's very important. Like, you just make sure you don't break the religious laws, you know.
Depending on how you want to look at it. Anyhow, it comes to a certain point where the dosage becomes a problem, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. It's always the dosage. Everything is good except, you know, when it's in high levels.
So when it's in excessive amount, then it's not good for you. So just as workaholic goes, when there's too much work, then it's not good for you either. And I am quite guilty of that.
But then at the same time, in my perception, in my family's perception, we feel that being a workaholic at this age, you know, at like 20, 22, is actually a good thing. Like I mean,
it's the golden age.
It's the golden age for you to keep going, because, you know, like they always say, you don't want to be working your ass off when you're like 50, 60, close to retirement, because you don't have enough money or because you don't have enough experience, you don't have like a secure retirement life ahead of you in a way. So I do think that, you know, if you want to be a workaholic, you might as well just do it while you're still young. But then at the same time, of course, don't overdo it. You go out, have fun, you know, sleep. But
that's the struggle of it.
It just depends on how you deal with things you have, you know.
Yeah.
Like you look at your own workload and you see whether you are able to deal with it or not. Yeah.
So that's the thing about workaholic. It's not just say like I am hardworking. By all means, I do my best to finish my responsibility and that I take up roles that will improve me as a person. And though on that note, I also do more work than necessary at times.
Oh yes,
just because I find it a bit more pleasurable to be working than to deal with my actual emotions.
that's such a T thing to do. That really is such a T thing to do.
And often I'm very guilty of it.
Actually, I am kind of guilty of it as well.
Aren't we all?
Yeah, I mean, despite being an F,
Mm,
especially like someone who is like a very strong F as well,
yes.
I still run more by my brain
Yes.
than my
you do.
emotions. So it's like I rather keep running
Mm,
and just forget about whatever, you know, struggles, heartbreaks I have. And
Yeah.
just keep running, keep running, keep running. The moment I just stop, I stand there, I look around and I'll be like, everything is like whoosh, the emotions just runs over me.
Tsunami.
Yeah, and then you're like, okay, I'm depressed for the next few days.
And that's a major struggle that we are still learning to overcome as well as of
Definitely.
now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As I mean for both of us.
Both of us, yeah. I mean, we are quite similar in terms of archetypes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely.
So there was I think it was a few days ago
Mm-hmm.
that I usually wake up quite early as well. But there was this
Mhm.
time when I just wake up and I question myself,
Mm.
is this really necessary? Sometimes, of course,
Mm.
as much as I feel depressed, I just tell myself, it's okay, go back to work. You'll forget about your depression.
Yeah.
You-
Most
you
of the
just
time,
keep going.
it's true. It's just like how for me,
Mm-mm.
when I'm struggling, people would be like, "Oh, how are you? How's your day?" Like, especially the question of "How are you?" or like sometimes "Are you okay?" I mean, of course, it depends on who's asking. That's
Yeah.
number one. That's very important. Like, if it's someone who I'm not very close to, or like someone who doesn't have the same ideas, same understanding as me, or even if it's not a mutual understanding, if they're going to ask me, "Oh, are you okay?" or "How are you?" I'll just be like, you know what? Don't even ask me that question because at the end of the day, telling you doesn't make me feel
Any
relief.
better.
Yeah, it doesn't feel any better. But if it's like people who are close friends, I really do appreciate it
Mhm.
if people just ask me for one very simple like, "Are you okay?" or like,
Is there something you want to talk about?
I don't really need that. What do you? Is it something you want to talk about? It's just like, "Are you okay?" As like, as a
Check up.
assurance, like an
Mhm.
assurance of like, I still care for you, but I'm giving you your space now.
Mm-mm. Sounds fair.
So yeah, for me, I don't really need like excessive like, "Oh, are you okay? Let's talk about it. You know, you need to deal with this and be over." So I don't really need that. It's like
Mm-mm.
it's just like how you always said, like, you know, you're in your man cave.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm in my man cave, and then I just need someone outside to like
Knock on it.
shout in and tell me, "Yo, I'm here." You know, like
Hello.
Yeah.
You okay?
yeah, literally that. So
How do you respond back?
I'll just be like, eh.
Eh.
I mean, as any reaction from me is actually, even though despite I seem like that
Mm-mm.
to close friends especially, even though it's like but then it means something to me.
Mm.
You know, it really means something to me because it's like I said, you know, it's like assuring that we are
The
here.
presence of
Yeah,
suitable partnership is there.
yeah. That's why, like, one very big trauma, I wouldn't call it trauma, probably like a fear that I have is like abandonment,
Yeah.
or like being forgotten, you know.
Mhm.
That's one very big, that's a monster that is inside me. Like, for real, it's a monster inside me that lives inside me, and you know, sometimes not more than often, like, it hasn't been coming back for quite some time. But yeah, recently it has been knocking on my door and it'll be like yeah. And I'm just like, leave me alone. But then
I perfectly understand at least where the monster is coming from.
yeah,
Where in my context, I have the fear of maybe, say, losing out.
oh yeah,
Losing
definitely.
out, and it's been a big issue as in for me growing up, having no proper companionship unless I show significant amount of leadership, taking control of the situation, which although is unhealthy in some context where I have to work an excessive amount in exchange for companionship. So it is quite the struggle for my sense. And it's been some time for me that I figured that out. So right now I am also segregating work and giving it out to people who are willing enough to volunteer or are willing enough to learn, and I think it's about time that the workaholism needs to reduce a little.
Finally, you said that. This is recorded. This is recorded. You said that. I tell you, anytime you are like asking me, should I do this myself? I'm just going to put this back on you.
Yeah, I think I'm at a stage where I'm like, this is really too much for me. The roles that I'm holding up is really too much because I'm first the son to my parents. I am
Eldest son. Let me
I am
correct
the
that.
eldest son, so it means I have siblings to take care of. I am then in charge of multiple things, and it's not conducive for me and the situation as well if I am overworked. Just like how the medical system is, if there is an overworked staff, it's not gonna make the situation any better. So it's time for me to let loose a little bit.
Pretty much like, overworked medical staffs
all over the world
are pretty. I'm just speaking for one person. Are pretty how should I say? Pretty grumpy when they're overworked. Like you don't want to touch them, Speaking from experience, really.
No.
Like if they're overworked, you're just like, never mind. I'll come back later. I'll come back later. But yeah, I can relate to the sense of not having companionship growing up.
Oh yeah.
Your sibling is younger than you by like what?
A significant amount.
Yeah, like a significant amount. For mine is like
You're the
more than
youngest.
5 years. Way more than 5 years. So when I'm born, they're already in primary school. When I'm in primary school, they're in secondary school and going to graduate secondary school and going into university. So when I'm in secondary school, they're already in university. Halfway through my secondary school, they have already graduated. So it's like it's a very huge gap in that sense. Like, yeah, I do get all that, family, mom, dad love as I grow older. But then when I was young, I had like my siblings are all busy studying, and then my mom and dad are like busy working to earn more so that we can go study. No way, it's just like, yeah, I'm growing up on my own.
It's a huge sacrifice on your part and your parents as well.
But at the same time, my parents know that I'm lonely in a way. Yeah, because I grew up alone. So a lot of times, this is so funny. A lot of times, my mom will be like, or my dad will be like, your sister, she's so lonely. She grew up alone, blah blah blah, and all that. And then my bro will be like, it's your responsibility. Who asked you guys to,
have
another child out of nowhere? Like, you already know well enough that there's like such a big gap and you still want another child. So my mom is like, okay, fine.
Fair enough.
Fair enough. There's nothing I can't rebut that. So yeah, in a way they are trying to spend more time with me. But
Workaholics. Am I right?
Yeah, workaholics. The most evident workaholic is definitely my brother. In a way, he's like just working every day and everything. But it comes from the maternal side.
I see.
Yeah, it really comes from the maternal side. Where the China people, when they come over and they just keep working their life, working their lives off, and then it just brings down.
And that's the thing with the generation previous to before us.
Yeah.
It's a very sad environment where that's the only way of survival. But then again, because it's so inducive that they have to work, in that sense, it no longer becomes a workaholic thing, more so a survival thing. Whereas at least with this generation, with us working to blanket our sad emotions or emotions that we don't want to deal with, it's not so much survival but more so an opportunity for us to shy away from things that we don't want to see.
I mean, that's for us.
That's for us.
But
or in a sense, a generation where somewhat of a luxury of safety is already there.
Yeah. There are also people who needs work
in survival. Yes,
yeah,
of course.
Definitely. I mean, poverty is still around. Definitely.
It's still a big problem right now.
Yeah, but generally, being a workaholic is not too bad in my opinion.
not too shabby, honestly. There's some pretty good perks to it.
Yeah, like I mentioned, you just keep working, and then when you pass those days, you're like, yeah, I had enough.
I have my share.
Yeah, I've had my share. I've had enough share of work. Like, okay, I'm gonna go on the trip. Bye. But yeah.
In the word of bye, in the meantime,
In TF,
we judge.